Well, a little earlier I spoke to the Church of England priest and broadcaster Giles Fraser, who's written of his experience of suffering beatings at his public school in the 1970s. I asked him what happened to him as a child.
Well, I was beaten at prep school in a way that was very reminiscent of these beatings from John Smythe, from when I was 7 all the way through to 12. So we were beaten with all sorts of implements, from canes to bats to anything that came to hand. Sometimes it was just a sort of immediate thing. Sometimes you'd have to wait for a very long period of time. We'd wait outside the chapel, a very gloomy, creepy chapel.
Chapel was germane to it?
The chapel was germane to it. So, and I think it's not right just to say that these beatings are the result of a few bad eggs, bad apples. I think there is a theological aspect to it, and I think it goes back to a rather poisonous brew between evangelical Christianity, public school religion, and the empire. It's about making you tough enough to rule the world. I mean, this is what they were trying to do. This was the job of the public schools. The headmaster who beat me was military police in Burma. That's what he did before he became a schoolmaster. That apparently was good preparation for being a schoolmaster. You know, there's also this thing about, oh, you mustn't tell, you mustn't be sneaks, or that somehow you're being wimpy about it. It's not. It's very important that people start to tell about that culture of abuse. Because now, it was a culture of abuse, John.
But now the Bishop of Guildford, has surfaced. Probably there are others too.
There'll be loads of people. I mean, loads of people. I mean,
But what do you see in what the Bishop of Guildford has said?
Well, I'm very glad that he's spoken. I'm very glad that he's spoken so personally about it. I disagree with some aspects of his statement. One of the things that he said is that this is not a question of theology. This is just a question of sort of a bad man. And this is the thing that we need to face. Actually, it is a question of theology. There is some bad theology at the heart of these whippings.
What does that theology say?
That theology says that you need to be a real man. You can be whipped for Jesus in order to make you strong. You know, the Victorians are obsessed with homosexuality and masturbation, and it's a similar sort of obsession you get. I mean, the Church of England's still stupidly obsessed with homosexuality, and that's part of the psychodynamic, complicated psychodynamic that was going on then in English public schools.
But then, what about the past? This is the past.
Yes.
Could we not say it's over?
Yes, you could say it's over, but there is a problem.
Although not for the survivors, of course.
No, it's not. And I mean, you know, I still bear the mental scars. I mean, you know, long after the pain goes, it shapes you. I mean, I'm still angry about it. Over 40 years afterwards, I'm still angry about it. And, you know, it shapes the way I look at the world. So, no, it's not ancient history. And
private education, public schools, I mean, surely it's over there.
Yeah, I mean, it is over there. I mean, the interesting thing, it was banned in this country in 1999 in schools. It was banned for adults.
Beating,
corporal punishment was banned for adults in 1947 or 8. You couldn't do it to adults then. All the way through to 1999, you could do it to children. What does that say about our mentality?
This is obvious a watershed for the Church. What more has to be done?
There is much more that the Church has to do. And the Church has to stop saying this was about a few bad apples, that classic defence. It has to take a very good long look in the mirror and say, actually, it was something about the way in which we presented the Christian faith that made this possible. And they have to do there has to be a sort of theological reckoning. And I think that people are incredibly resistant to doing that.
And how can they make amends?
I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think some of the damage will always be done. I mean, Christianity is, at its heart, a religion of love and forgiveness. And, you know, for me, love and forgiveness is what's going to get us through this. But actually, the scars for people like me, and the anger run so deep. I'm not always sure, and I know I should, but I'm not sure how to forgive in these situations, in this circumstance.
That's an incredible challenge, because you, as a vicar,
absolutely,
are having to preach forgiveness.
And I think it's a terrible thing to say, and I think it's right. I think I am a lesser person for not being able to do it. on not knowing how to do it. And I think that forgiveness is absolutely at the heart of the Christian gospel and the faith. I am a lesser person for not knowing how to do it in these circumstances.
Giles Fraser, thank you very much for talking to us.